this video we'll create this super realistic VHS look. Believe it or not, you won't be able to tell the difference from the real thing. Welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, I'm Dima from Studio Znak. I make useful editing tutorials, and we also create tools and projects that help you make more unique content in less time. Subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any new useful videos. And let's get started. So I'm already in After Effects. Let's create a new composition. I'll use 640 by 480 and I'll use 25 frames per second. Let's call it footage composition. In this composition we will later be able to change media files, add logos and so on. Basically this will be our universal template. Once you have edited your media, you will need to scale it to fit the composition using the scale property. Now once everything is ready, create another composition. I'll use the same settings and let's call it effect composition. This is where we'll add our effects. Drop your footage composition into this composition. Let's also trim the composition to match the length of the clip. Now create an adjustment layer. You can do this with the shortcuts Ctrl plus Alt plus Y or Command plus Option plus Y on Mac. I'll call this layer blur. Add the Foxbox blur effect on this layer, set radius to 1 and iterations also to 1. Like I said before, we are building a template where you will be able to control every effect and settings later, so make sure to watch till the end and then you can adjust everything to your taste. Now create another adjustment layer, name it saturation, add the color balance HLS effect. Here I want to slightly reduce the saturation. I wouldn't go too far here, I think -15 works well. It makes the result feel more natural and closer to a realistic VHS look. Next create another adjustment layer and call it grain. Look for add grain effect and apply it. Set viewing mode to final output and intensity to 0.6 and leave everything else as it is. Now I want to create this vertical line effect on the left side, kind of like a defect effect. I'll call it scan line. Double click the shape tool icon and it will automatically create and shape the size of your composition. Add the gradient ramp effect, move the points like I do. I move the black point towards the center and the far left edge. Do the same with the white point, but leave a bit of space between black and white color, and let's call this layer scan line. Now we can add a channel blur effect on this layer. Set red blurriness to 20, green to 5, blue to 10 and alpha to 5. Then in dimensions choose horizontal. You can also increase ramp scatter, I'll set it to 4. This gives us these nice lines and effect here. Then set the blending mode for this layer to multiply. Now let's scale this shape down and position it where the line should be. I'm doing this so it's easier to understand what this shape is later. As you can see, this line isn't animated yet, so let's add some motion using the scatter parameter. Hold Alt or Option if you're on Mac and click the stopwatch next to ramp scatter, then type this expression, time multiply 4. Now as you can see, we made animated line here and that already looks much better. Now create a new composition and call it main. I'll use 9020 by 1080 and I'll use also 25 frames per second. Now let's add effect composition into this main composition. Now scale it up to fit the frame, but leave black bars on the left and right sides. I think it looks more realistic this way. Let's also trim the composition to match the layer length. Now duplicate the effect composition 3 times and turn off visibility for the first and the second layers. Let's start with the bottom one. Add a noise effect and set it to 10. Then add the black and white effect. After that, we can add Gaussian blur effect. Set blurriness to 10 and in the dimensions we can choose horizontal. Now go to the second layer and turn its visibility back on. Add the brightness and contrast effect and set brightness to 50. Then add the noise effect and set it to 30. Add Gaussian blur effect again with the same settings. I'll set blurriness to 10 and dimension to horizontal. But here is the important part, set the blending mode to color for this layer. Now move to the top layer, turn it on and add a few effects. Add noise effect and set it to 5, then add black and white effect and set the blending mode to luminosity. And that's it. Now just look at the result and it looks super realistic. Just look at those imperfections here, blur here, and honestly I'm really happy with how this turned out. But the best part is that we can control everything inside the effect composition. You can turn effects on and off. For example, if we disable the blur effect, it looks really good, just a bit more crispy, but I'll keep it on. You can also adjust grain, saturation. If you don't like the desaturated look, you can turn that layer off or even increase saturation for a more vibrant result. So yeah, we just created a really perfect template for this retro style, and we can call it VHS Simulator. We really like the early 2000s aesthetic, so we created a stylizer based on this idea, and we call it very simple VHS Stylizer. It's honestly one of the most realistic VHS stylizer I've ever seen. We also added different screen styles, noise variations, and much more different parameters. If you're interested, I'll leave a link below this video. I love to create different projects, different effects in After Effects on Premiere Pro, like this one VHS look, and after that show you how I create it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this really cool video. Don't forget to subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and share your thoughts or some recommendations if you have in the comments. See you in the next one. Peace.